Oh, absolutely beautiful. So it's the 19th of May 2020, and here you are with Dan in Essex, UK. So the main purpose of my channel is to show people how to grow their own fruit and vegetables and flowers in some cases, no matter what size of garden, allotment or growing space they do indeed have. So today I'm going to be making a permaculture video, have a bit of an update, have a chat about each one and talk about how permaculture can be incorporated into a medium or small size garden. Let's go. Here we are in the 3 by 2 metre polytunnel. So you can see there's so much going on in here. I've removed some of the things and some of the specimens, plants, etc., and put them in the 6 by 3 polytunnel. So Dixie red peach tree, looking absolutely beautiful indeed. And some of you may be aware this did actually have, and still has to a degree, an infestation of scale insects. So I've been removing them by hand, and you can see where they were, the white bits on the branches there. But it's looking much less infested than it was, so that'd be much better for the health of the tree. And it's carrying a fair-sized crop actually. So I've got some lovely peaches there, all looking beautiful. Up the back there, all along here, you could see them. So I'm looking at probably a good 20 or so, maybe 30 peaches on this tree, and the fact that it hasn't set a massive number of peaches, the chances of the peaches then being bigger are much higher. So there we are. Now the autumn royal grapevine will start at the base, so you can see this really has come on, and there's so many little bunches of grapes on here, unbelievable. We're looking probably in excess of 30 bunches. So there we are, look at that one. And up here, look at the size of these bunches already. So these, if each one of these becomes a grape, just think how many there are going to be. So very, very happy about that. Now you can see some raspberries coming up here. That's because the raspberries in the ground are just out there. So what I'm going to be doing, probably just leave them, to be honest, and maybe let them produce some fruit next year. Why not, hey? And the Muscat Blanc grape here really is coming along like this. Is carrying a decent sized crop for such a young vine. Now here's a little tip for you if you want to get into producing grapes quite quickly, and that is to grow them in a polytunnel or a greenhouse, because the growth tends to be quicker because the heat acts as a catalyst which increases the speed of growth. So you can even do this if the vine is in a pot, and then so you can grow it in a pot, get plenty of growth on it, and then plant it out in the following dormant season, and then because it's got more growth on it for it to produce fruit on the next year, you will get your crop much quicker. So that's a good little tip that you can use. Right, I've got to recover this lovely cherry tree here, variety Stella. The wind has proceeded to blow off the cover, but there we go, never mind. So this has set a very nice crop as well. There's probably in excess maybe of 100 cherries on this beautiful Stella cherry tree, so I'm very, very happy about that. You can see them all up there, look just how many there are. Really, really heavy crop. So apples, Worcester pearman, you can see we have a crop that's been set here and here, so, and up here as well, so carrying a decent sized crop for the size of the tree. And you can see I've got my spinach plants down here. Something's been at them, but that's not the end of the world. So I'm probably going to put some squash plants at the back, or some courgettes and some marrows. Potatoes here are cooking away, absolutely beautiful. These are variety Desiree. There's a food forest idea. You know, you've got your tree here. I could even consider setting some runner beans growing up the apple tree here, act as the support. That is a possibility as well. Tayberries, you know, I've sung the praises of these before. They tend to be one of the first fruits ready, so you can see just how much of a crop these have set. So they fruit on the previous year's growth, okay, so you can see we've had plenty of previous year's growth on here, and you can just see the sheer volume of fruit these are carrying. So I recommend people get a Tayberry if they're into that sort of thing. pear variety Concord, still carrying a massive crop, and this tree has actually started to grow. And many of you are aware that I do indeed refer to this tree as the tree that never grows, but it has started to grow, and it's just got an absolutely colossal crop on there. Of course, these won't all mature into edible pears simply because there's too much for the tree to carry, but my feeling is the tree this year wanted to set a big crop but smaller pears. So I'm going to let it do its thing, and I may, help it in shedding a few, but alternatively I might leave it to the tree. We will see what happens. So the pear here variety Onward. Now this has set a smaller crop than the Concord, but I'm not surprised of that because I only put this in the ground probably about 10 weeks ago, something like that. So once again, it's going to establish this year. I probably should have taken the blossom off so it didn't try to set fruit, but I've let it do what it wants, so we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so grapevine Lakemont seedless, absolutely laden with fruit here. Absolutely, going to have a massive crop on here, all being well. Really, really happy with how this has all turned out. And grapes, they fruit off of canes which grow from the previous year's growth. Okay, so for instance, if you look at this, right, this green bit, this has grown this year, and this bit grew last year. So this bit that's grown this year will put out canes next year, and that will then get fruit off of it. And it's very intriguing how it works because this is a cane off of a previous year's growth. So there we go. So it's absolutely amazing how grapes work, and I think everybody who can should have one in their permaculture collection. Blueberries, so set a really, really good crop here, and you can see just how many we have here. So blueberries require ericaceous growing medium, ericaceous compost, ericaceous soil, 4.5 to 5.5 pH, and daily watering when cropping. So really, really happy with how these are coming on. So there we go, that's an update on some permaculture things. So with regards to permaculture, you're thinking long term, okay? So you're thinking, if you put that plum tree in, then all being well, once that gets into fruiting, that will feed people year after year after year. There we go. A bit like a cherry tree, you put a cherry tree in, and you can get some satisfaction knowing that if you don't cover it, the birds will feed from it year after year after year as well. So you can get a bit of a nature satisfaction there if that floats your boat. Now, looking down here, you could see that we've got an absolutely enormous, ginormous crop of strawberries set. And I'm really, really happy with how these are coming on. So, when you've got your strawberries like this, the thing that you can do to help them is to give them daily watering, okay, up until the crop is finished, because that way, they will continue to swell. You get some nice big strawberries. I mean, look at that one. Look, that's coming on already. I mean, I probably could peel that away and eat that if I wanted to. So, all a plethora of varieties here, so many different sorts, all looking lovely. And, in the permaculture project, there's just so much, isn't there? I've got the fig tree here coming on, Madeleine de Deux Saisons. You could see the banana tree, and of course, the orange tree, all looking very good here. So there we go. Now, if you like my work, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I could absolutely go on all day here about things, but I'm not going to. Check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram. See you next time, and thank you very much for viewing.